All right, what's going on, everyone? We are back with another Willpop Vinyl vibe coding update for you here. I believe this is going to be part 5. It's July 14th. We are 1 week out from my Japan trip, and the research continues, aided mostly by this want list explorer tool that I've been working on and documenting here. You can see here at the top, we have the records-i-want.onrender.com URL. This is still the temp URL. So if you want to go check this out, you can simply log in with your Discogs credentials. It will pull everything and you can explore some of the features. I'll do a quick update here. You can see I've added a few new things to my want list here. The most amazing discovery was this record by Arthur Russell, which I'm sure a lot of folks are familiar with. I wasn't familiar with it. World of Echo. Yeah, really gripping, amazing, vibey record. I'm surprised it's never come up in any of the VC content that I like to consume, or any of my other just searching for kind of, experimental ambient stuff. So that was a sick find, and kind of proving the case a bit of what the recommendation engine's able to do for me here. Yeah, what should we do here? So let's see, we can click what's new. I added some more stuff with playlists, mapping. Yeah, so let's check that out. So first of all, for the recommendations, so if we just get random picks from my collection here, one of the things I decided to do was just make it like easy to go, one click from whatever the platform gives you in terms of recommendations, grab them all and put them into a playlist to save for later. That way, the way you had to do it before was a little clunky. Like you had to manually like everything, then go into the liked tab, then click make a playlist, and then click them all, and then name the playlist and send it over, and then jump over to the playlist tab, and then it would be there. So yeah, I decided, what if we just made a button that adds them all to a playlist? And yeah, this is something that we can't really do anything about into, I don't think, the amount of time it takes to serve these up. This is definitely the bottleneck, but this is all on Claude. It's analyzing the collection every time. And here it brought me 4 new records, so I have no idea what these are. This Shackleton one, it keeps sending me, and I haven't listened to it yet. So here's a good time for me to make a playlist from all these. And it jumps over to playlist here. It's going to load them in. And then from here, yeah, I can save it. And it default named it my recommendations 01. So I can rename that if I want. And yeah, now I have these here, and that way if I leave and come back and change the recommendations or do a different search, I won't lose these if I want to check them out. I also added this little map thing here. So I don't know how valuable this is necessarily, but it's kind of a fun way to do some data visualization with your collection. And it looks at your collection and groups everything by genre. And these are all the genres that people assign to them on Discogs, right? So this is not the AI's opinion. This is, I guess, the community's opinion. So your mileage is going to vary on these a lot. If you want to like see them better, more clearly, zoom in, zoom out, you can drag around, move things around, see what's connected to what. So you can see a lot of my stuff is experimental plus another, or ambient plus another, or various flavors of jazz plus another thing here. And yeah, the idea was just to kind of give you another way to do some more experimentation in terms of discovery. So if you click reveal adjacent scenes, now it's going to do some thinking, and it's going to look for some genre tags that overlap a lot with what you have but aren't represented in your collection. And so here it says Detroit techno, and then if I click find Detroit techno records, now it's going to come up with Detroit electro. So now it's going to come up with another search. It's going to pull, and I'll be able to make a playlist or just listen to them here again, through Apple Music or YouTube, whatever's available. And so that's just kind of like a more tactile, like if you don't really feel like coming up with prompts, just a different way for you to slice your collection and find different things you might like. And while this is going, the other thing that we've added here is that it will scan your collection to look at overlap of people who are credited on what you own. So you can see here it says like Rudy Van Gelder's on 29 of my records, Brian Eno's on 22 as a producer, Don Cherry's on 16 as a trumpet. Then there's like some little corner cases here that I haven't bothered to try to tackle yet, like traditional, right? I imagine this is like for traditional folk songs. that are credited for whatever reason on music. So yeah, I don't know how valuable clicking traditional might be. And there's also producers. Like, I don't know how valuable like recorded by Rudy Van Gelder or whoever Alfred Lion is as a producer, but you can scroll down, find any of these people, figure out, okay, like Joshua Abrams, like what are some more Joshua Abrams I don't have, click. And now this has overwrote my Detroit Electro search that we forgot to go back and revisit, but that's okay. And now this will just pull up more Joshua Abrams projects, and then again, I can like, dislike, make a playlist. And only brought up two because I actually own quite a few records from him, maybe. So, and have quite a few on my want list, so I might have him pretty well like represented across like my Discogs data. So that's kind of where we're at here. The next step, truly the next two steps are, one, to figure out a name for this and move it onto a more proper URL. So if I go over here to, yes, and let me just switch the window. So here I've been working in Claude Design with some names and ideas for logo treatments. So I'm going to run these by the community and see if anyone wants to provide ideas or preferences to looks or names. So one of the interesting names that Claude returned, I kind of prompted it to come up with something that didn't necessarily sound like it had to do with records or music or anything, because sometimes names like that are just kind of like small and novel are really easy to remember. And the one it came back with was bower, and this is a reference to a bower bird, which apparently is a type of bird that like picks up things that are blue and saves them in its nest. So it's like one of the only creatures, or the only creature, that's known to collect things in that way. And so it thought that was kind of a fun name for this idea of like someone who's sifting through recommendations and trying to find new things they like. That we are kind of like bowerbirds there. And it came up with some treatments, including this really dorky little iconic bird here. This grid one is actually kind of cool with the blue dot. I guess, I think I mentioned they like blue stuff, so it keyed onto this like blue dot thing standing out. So bower is one of the names. Then I also came up with a set of names that play off of music. So vinyl quarry, and it came up with some treatments here. Music quarry and sound quarry. I was going with quarry. It came up with like other, we tried to look at names that like played off of Grail, but you're not really, right? Grail kind of implies, maybe for a lot of folks at least, value or scarcity, but when you're discovering new music like this, it might not be something that is rare or valuable that you end up finding that you like. So sure, you could say like, well, that might become your new personal Grail because you love the music, but I don't know if it really fits that well. So I eventually landed on like the sound plus quarry or music plus quarry to kind of play into like the digging again. And some of these little icons you can see like might adapt really well to how those icons tend to appear in like tabs when you're on a web browser, or to an iOS or Android app. And so that is the other next step. So beyond picking a name is figuring out how to wrap this thing up into an app for anyone who wants to download it, just to make it a little bit better. And then there's some other features that I'm looking at too that I thought might be fun, like the ability to take a picture. This is again if you have like an app, or you could probably do this through a website as well. But suppose you have the app and you can take a picture of something that you're looking at in a shop or at a record show, and then very quickly have it, very quickly, like 30 seconds, right? Have it take that picture, figure out what it is, and compare it against your want list and your collection, and then try to give you a quick summary of whether or not you might like that record, to help people who, like myself, who sometimes tend to blind buy things based on what they look like and what little I might know. So I think that could be a fun thing to at least get set up and try, but I haven't put it on the website yet proper. I've kind of been focusing on figuring out a name. So take a look at these. If any of these stand out, drop a comment. You can see they're all labeled like 2G, 2H, 2I, 2J. Let me know if any of these look cool to you, names or icons. And that's pretty much it for this update. I'm going to keep it short. Like I said, going to Japan next week, I'll probably try to do one quick small collection update before that. So that way when I come back, it can be all Japan stuff. And all right, let's call it there. Let's keep it short. Again, if you want to check it out, let me flip back real quick. The URL right now is records-i-want.onrender.com. You can go in, you can log in with your Discogs, and you can enjoy all this for free. And you can use the site for quite a bit based on the amount of credit that I put in there before it's going to ask you to try to supply your own key and start paying your own way to use the AI features. So yeah, again, invitation open. The links will be below. Thanks again for watching. Drop a comment and a like, and I'll be back again with another video soon. Later, everyone.